Hey, welcome back to another Southwest Florida housing market update. This week we have some trends that are continuing from the last 2 weeks in the opposite direction as most headlines would lead you to believe. And then we also have some news stories coming out that are good news and bad news for people looking to buy or relocate to Florida. One of them being insurance. And then we also have some news stories with CPI data, where interest rates are heading. So if you're thinking about relocating or buying in Southwest Florida, you're going to want to hear those stories. So stick around to the end. Now let's dive right into Lee County's market stats so you can see what those trends are that are actually defying the headlines that have been coming out over the last several weeks. First, we're starting off with Lee County's week over week trends so you can see exactly what's happening on a 7-day basis. The median sales price right now is down to $409. That's actually down 4.3% from last week, down almost 9% from last year. So you would think that that's a good sign, right? Heading in the right direction. We want to see prices fall for those of you who are waiting on the sidelines. But let's take a look at some of the other stats because this might not be heading that direction for much longer. Closed sales, as you can imagine, with interest rates having picked up over the last 2 years, really gone up and doubling, closed sales have been declining for quite some time. We're at 234 over the last 7 days in Lee County. That's down almost 50% from last week, but it's only down 13% from last year at the same time. So that would be more of a seasonally adjusted number. Also, keep in mind that closed sales are a lagging indicator. So these are homes that went under contract 30 to 45 days ago and have now just closed over the last 7 days. So this is really telling you what the market was like 30 to 45 days ago. New pending sales, on the other hand, is a leading indicator. So this is exactly what's going on in the market as we speak over the last 7 days. 376 homes went under contract over the last 7 days, and this is for single family homes. That's really no change from last week, but it is up 14.6% from last year. So you can see based on this chart coming down here around December 30th, right at the end of the year, now we're back up here and we're starting to level out a little bit, but we'll have to see if that starts to level out or continues climbing because it has been making higher highs. Active inventory is going to give you an idea of where inventory is increasing or decreasing over the course of the last year or two. In this case, we're looking at a year chart. So 6,732 active properties, single family homes right now in Lee County. That's down 2% from last week. It's up 60% from last year, which the 60% is where a lot of people have been harping on. Everybody's saying inventory skyrocketing. Yes, but it's coming up from all-time lows. So 60% from a 200% decrease in inventory is not a huge increase at all. Now you can also see that we hit our peak back here in February of 2024, so just 2 months ago. And since then, it kind of flattened out and now has been declining. So active inventory is actually going down, which is not what we want to see if we want to see home prices come down. New listings, which is also a leading indicator because this is the amount of home sellers who are putting their homes on the market over the last 7 days. This has actually gone up 6.8% from last week, 5.4% from last year. So this is where we see more listings coming on. However, you can see back here in, again, December, we had our all-time low for the year, and then we saw a spike. And that usually occurs because a lot of homes expire, their contracts with agents expire at the end of the year. And once they're expired, they are renewed on the 1st of January. So that's where we usually see a big spike and increase in new listings coming on. It did increase all the way through to February and has slowly been making lower lows. And if this trend does continue, I would expect that we would be seeing lower lows next month as well. All right, now we have the March stats for Lee County. So just to give you a real quick synopsis on what happened in Lee County overall, this is a 13-month trailing. Median sales price is up 0.5% compared to February 2 months ago now. It's down 0.1% from last year at the same time in March. So really not a huge change in prices. You can see it did drop down, but then has come back up. Closed sales up 35% from last month, down 5.3% from last year. So again, closed sales going to be indicating what's going on. It's a lagging indicator, but still the trend right now has been up for the last couple months. So closed sales, meaning more people are buying and closing deals. That is also putting upward pressure on prices because there's going to be less inventory. Median days on market down 4.4%. They have been rising because inventory was increasing, but now that inventory is on the other end and we're coming down, 43 days is down from last month. And it's up 104% from last year. Sold price per square foot, $241. That's up again from last month, but down 3.2% overall from last year. New listings down 5.6% from last month, up 0.2% from last year at the same time. So really not seeing that much inventory increasing in new listings. And then active inventory up 54% from last year at the same time, but down 12% from last month. And then month supply of inventory. Keep in mind, this is for all property types, single families, condos, villas, etc. Month supply is at 4.7. A balanced market would be 6 months of supply. So right now, this is showing us that it is still a seller's market slightly, although even though it is a slight seller's market, there's still an advantage for buyers right now. You do have a little bit more leverage asking for closing costs, making offers a little bit lower. But again, if it's a great property, it's priced well, it's in a good location, those homes are still selling pretty quickly. I just looked at one the other day, $1.4 million property, 7 acres with one of my clients. And within 2 days, it had an offer and it's under contract now. All right, now moving on to Collier County. This is starting off with the single family data, week over week trends. Median sales price, $1,050,000. That's up 31% from last week, up 8.2% from last year the same time. You can see the prices here really have kind of stabilized and flatlined, but they did have a huge increase over the last week. Closed sales, we are down 35% from last week, down 17% from last year, meaning that less buyers have been actually closing on homes over the last couple weeks. New pending sales, 141 this week. That's up 6% from last week, up 34% from last year. But again, you can see the trend here is upward, making higher highs. And if that does continue the way you're seeing in Lee County, I expect these new pending sales to continue increasing. Same thing here with Collier County. Active inventory for single family homes is on the decline. We had our high back here in 316 last month, 2805, and over the last 3 weeks has been slowly declining. It's down 1.7% from last week, up 40% from last year. Again, though, historical lows from last year and the year before that. New listings, 187. That's up 25% from last week, 20% from last year. So we'll have to continue to see if that trend goes down, because if new listings continue to decline and we have new pendings increasing as we're seeing right now, that means that prices are going to have upward pressure to continue rising. And now for the March overview for Collier County, we have $695,000 median sales price. It's down slightly from last month, but it's up 6.6% from last year. So this is your appreciation rate for Collier County. Keep in mind, this is factoring in single family homes and condos, townhomes, and villas as well. Closed sales up 37% from last month. That's a huge increase, 929 sales, but down 12.8% from last year. So again, less people buying. But still, that being upward means there's still plenty of buyers entering the market in Collier County. Median days on the market, 41, really no change from last month, but it still is up 46% from last year at this time. But 41 days is really actually a healthy market. Actually, closer to 60 to 90 days is a balanced market. So you can see that this is still slightly skewed towards a seller's market in Collier County. And then the rest of these numbers, sold price per square foot, new listings, active inventory, and months of supply, are all heading in the wrong direction for buyers. This is good news for sellers. There's less active inventory. That's declined month over month. It's up quite a bit, but we're starting to head the other way now. New listings means that there's not as many homes coming on the market. So that's part of the reason active inventory is decreasing, and then month supply is going down. That is also not good news, because it means there's less options for buyers, again, putting upward pressure on prices. All right, now let's break out into the news stories that we have today. First, I want to touch on interest rates, because there's been a lot of changes recently. They came down about 2-3 weeks ago. They came down quite a bit, and a lot of people did jump in. You could see the new pending sales did increase during that time period. However, they've been slowly going back up. And even with that, mortgage applications still increased, not much, 0.1% from 1 week earlier, but still an increase means that there are buyers who are still coming out there. They're willing to buy. I think a lot of people are nervous that they're starting to get priced out of the market and they don't see any real relief coming anytime soon. With that being said, interest rates are at 7.078%. According to NerdWallet, that is also pretty similar to what Bankrate has. Also, good news coming in for the state of Florida. 8 new home insurers are now able to enter the market. So we have Ovation Home Insurance Exchange, Manatee Insurance Exchange, Condo Owners Reciprocal Exchange, Orange Insurance Exchange, Orion 180 Select Insurance Company, Orion 180 Insurance Company, Mainsail Insurance Company, and Tailrow Insurance Companies, all new entering the market, which is going to relieve hopefully some of the stress that has been put on the homeowners here who have kind of been bailed on by the insurance companies that had gone bankrupt or just completely left the state and dropped all their policyholders. In addition to that, property insurance is also trimming rates. Florida Peninsula Insurance says 2% average rate decrease shows the property insurance market is stabilizing, which is really good news. There's also some legislation going on right now. There's two bills that I know of that are trying to increase the affordability of insurance and really decrease the premiums. So again, a lot of these stories that have been coming out about insurance companies, that's stuff that's been going on for the last 2-3 years. But now legislation, things are starting to turn around with insurance companies. So that's bringing hope to more people. And then the last news that I wanted to talk about is the inflation data that just came out. CPI came out this week. It was actually 3.5%. It rose from March, so it was more than expected. Again, not great news for what the Fed is looking to do. That has caused the Fed to start to rethink, how soon and how many rate cuts they're going to be doing this year. They were projecting 3 at the beginning of the year. Now we're looking at maybe 2 rate hikes. And then with this report, it sounds like they're not even sure if they're going to have a rate cut this year at all. So with that being the case, interest rates are probably going to be staying higher for longer until the Fed gets us closer to the 2% mark. The main causes of this was actually energy and shelter costs. So until something changes with those, right now it looks like CPI is still increasing. So inflation's still strong, which means buyers waiting on the sideline. Interest rates are going to stay higher and they could increase. So keep that in mind. All right, so that really brings us to the end of these news stories, but I did want to reach out and let you guys know about some things that I have going on in the works. I have more home tours coming to the channel. So we're going to be doing some communities, some city breakdowns, so you guys can get a better feel of what communities are like, what the lifestyles are like in those communities. I also have a newsletter that I'm going to be launching in the next week or two that is going to cover everything about relocation. So buying tips, it's going to have market data and insights like I do here on the channel, but I'll also have some exclusive resources and information, a database coming that you guys who are looking to relocate here, who have no idea where to go or what communities are like, you'll be able to just go right into this database and just look up the communities. You'll be able to get HOA docs, what are the insurance issues, restrictions, zoning laws, everything you need to know about real estate is in this database. So I'm really excited to launch that. If you guys have questions, reach out to me directly. My number and my contact information is in the description. You can also scan the QR code right here above, or leave me comments in the comment section of the video, and I'm happy to get back to you. I try to get back to you guys within an hour or so. All right, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give me a thumbs up. Maybe hit subscribe if you enjoy this content and want some more of it. But I hope to see you in the next video. And until then, stay safe, stay positive, and more importantly, stay free.